Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another segment of Asaph Cafe. This is going to be a very special version because we have a very special young woman on our program. Her name is Haneen. I pronounced that right?
Yeah.
And Haneen, on your left is Pee-wee, our mascot for Asaph Cafe. And our hostess, Patti Reed, she is our veteran guest, and she's been on this show more times than anyone since I first started
Guinness
doing the
Book
show
of
a year and
World
a half
Records,
ago.
Mrs.
And behind
Mrs.
you we have
Duckworth.
Emmett, our aging rocker, we call him for this show. And the premise of this show, I just play the piano while we talk. And I'm going to start out with a song. I don't know if you'll know this song. It's my theme song called This Guy's in Love with You by Burt Bacharach.
Nothing personal. But I feel the reason why we came up with Thanksgiving had nothing to do with pilgrims. Throughout the year, there are people that are going to kind of drive you crazy, push the limit, go as far as they can. We call them human turkeys. So the government decided to set one day aside so we can thank them for making us that much smarter and realizing how much more it costs to deal with them kind of people.
I didn't know about that.
That's all. That's my personal joke.
Oh.
I call it Human Turkey Day.
Oh.
Yes, I'm handing it to you, Pee-wee.
Well, thanks for doing me a favor being part of the show today. I
Yeah, you're
appreciate
more than
that.
welcome.
Now you'll
Do
be
you know
famous.
this song? Have you ever heard this song?
No.
Well, this probably goes way back before your time.
Yeah. I kind of listen to the hip hop. And
Yeah, I
rap.
figured that. Younger generation, I can't do hip hop on the piano.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you can. You just have to pick up the beats, and you can make it your own.
I'm gonna freeze on that chord. You probably want to hear something like this.
I know this one.
Actually,
Can't touch this.
yeah, I can't
He's a
touch it.
super freak.
Actually, this is a
super
true
freak.
story.
They're super freaky.
My cousin Greg in San Francisco used to do music for Rick James. This was like, oh gosh, maybe 30 years ago or more.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Rick James, you remember him? I don't know if you know him.
I heard of him.
Well, he was the original singer for I think they called it the Freaky Girl.
He was
Before MC Hammer.
he was the first
did
king
his
of pop
version.
before Michael Jackson.
Yeah, his name was Rick James, and he did a lot of what they called funk soul music. And yeah, and so my cousin Greg used to play with him in San Francisco years ago. You weren't even a dot in your mom's eye at that time.
No.
So you're from Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, were you born there?
I born there in Saudi Arabia, city called Jeddah. It's close to the Red Sea. It's by holy city Mecca.
Okay.
Yeah, it's by that. Yeah, and I grew up here in the United States in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. So you
The
were
Motor
born
City.
you were born in the States. So you have what is it, Saudi Arabian heritage? Is that it? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Good for you.
Have you ever visited your homeland?
Yeah, I have visited. I visited 2 years ago, and I visited about. Well, I visited in 2010 and 11 and 12 and 13, 14. I didn't visit. I didn't get the chance. Yeah, because the ticket is so expensive, and I don't have a lot of money to pay that.
Well, how long is your stay usually?
Well, my family took us there when we grow up and be an adult, because they don't want us to go there and pick up some weird stuff like what's going on right now today.
Right, a lot of hostility and things like
So
that.
they want us to go there when we are mature and understand what's right and what's wrong.
That's a lot to handle.
Yeah, but my mom's family and my dad's family live in the United States. Some of them live in Europe, so they understand more. We only go there when we get together, but they usually get together without us because they've been doing that for a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, you know, this is really a neat treat for me because you're the very first person to ever appear on my show
Oh,
from Saudi Arabia or Saudi Arabian descent.
yeah.
So that is just so neat to have you as our special
Thank
guest on the
you.
cafe today.
Well,
Just make yourself at home, and
Thank
you're
you.
you're welcome to talk about whatever you want to talk, like your family, your heritage.
Yeah, you guys ask me a
school.
question and
Yeah,
I'll
well,
answer.
I will ask you. You're still a student at university?
Yeah, I'm a junior at the University of Montana.
How do you like it?
I love it, but I'm moving to New York to get a really best school called King College.
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
I used to work there.
It's a Catholic school, and they have a better education than over here. Well, it used to be Brooklyn College.
Yeah.
So what is
Well,
your
my
goal?
family, I have family that live in New York, and I used to do some work at King's College years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
My goal is to be a political science.
Really?
Yeah. I
Excellent.
love government stuff. And
Oh,
That's so
she's
cool.
gonna
I
try
wanna
the
work-
White House here.
no.
If
no,
I'm going to see you on NBC News about 10 years from now, I'll say,
Oh,
hey,
you'll
hey,
probably
lady.
see me on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to. I didn't born in the United States. I born back in my country, so I can't be a president in the United States. I can be a senator or house
Good
of
for you.
Or a
That's
mayor.
exciting.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
I can be that. And
You'd
I'm
actually
trying-
probably be better as the mayor,
Yeah.
because then you're a
I'm-
mini president.
Yeah.
Now, do you
Yeah.
have, let's see, you live with your family here
Yeah, I live
in Montana?
with. Yeah, we are 7 kids, including
Wow.
me, and I
Uh-huh.
live with my mom and my dad. All of us live together.
Well, I've never been to Saudi Arabia, but like I mentioned, I lived in Taipei, Taiwan when I was
Okay.
very young. And we went to a school called the Dominican School. And at that time, Taiwan was getting their little independence from China at that time.
Yeah.
So that was quite an experience living there at that
Well,
time.
most of the TV shows how Saudi Arabia, it's like desert.
I
They don't
heard.
have anything. But actually, it's like New York. They never sleep. People is always outside.
Really? How's the
It's-
cost of living? Do you know?
It's expensive, actually. Like in the United States,
Mhm.
we can control ourselves. But in Saudi Arabia, everything is so expensive. Like if I want to buy this water might cost $10 back in my country.
right.
But over here, it's like maybe $1, $2.
So I heard that it's really hard to have your own personal television.
No, you can have, but yeah, everything is changed. It's not like, cause people who's from there, they send their kids to study. So when they come back to our homeland, they change like people's mind. They change everything. Everything is change. Everything is starting to change.
Because they find out that the world's not flat, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I don't know,
Okay.
Saudi Arabia is something really crazy. But I mean, it's a really good country. It's not,
I made a
It's
kind of
not
a
that
joke.
bad.
I made a joke about you know how to lower the hostility of a man that's part of the Middle East war and stuff.
yeah.
Loosen the turban, it circulates the brain better, less headaches.
Patty, please. Don't insult this young woman here.
Oh no, it's not an insult to her. It's to help improve the mankind.
Well, some men are, to be honest, some men are stupid.
There you go,
Okay.
there you go.
Well, you heard it here on the cafe.
See, every generation can catch on.
I went to Arabia, over in here in America, if I walk, I smile. Back in my country, if I walk, I smile. That means I want their number. So that means all the guys chasing me. So when I went there, like I was maybe 17, and I smiled and I walked away. Then suddenly I turned back and see all the guys. I was so happy and excited because I never happened over here.
I really wish you
Variety.
the best, whatever you do with your life and your future. I just think that's wonderful.
I think
Yeah.
someday you could write a book.
Yeah, she's probably already got
You
right.
know,
right
it's
written
kind of like
down.
they have the crossover tours a lot of times with.
I have
with
a love
different
story.
singers
I
and-
have a drama story. My whole life is just
Now, Emmett, are you okay
adventure.
back there?
Yeah, I'm
There
fine.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. And don't
I think you
have
could
your
at least a
drink here?
Yes, I
medium-sized
do.
novel going.
yeah.
You could go. My perception on traveling from here to there.
You know, my mom sometimes she's like, I want to talk to you. So when she talked to me, she was like, how come you don't write a book about your life? I was like, what? Do you want me to tell people how drama I am? But I'm not that drama though. I'm just. I have a lot of
You have
adventure.
your moments.
Yeah, I have a moment. Like maybe I had a moment to understand all the men because I've talked to. I'm not saying that I'm player, but I like to talk guys, and I want like I get into a
That's
relationship.
normal. That's okay.
I get into a relationship who's rich. I got a relationship with a poor person. I got a relationship with a rapper. I get myself into those people. But at the end, I'm here.
So you like variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, variety's cool. It's the spice of life. It is.
Yeah.
Life gets boring without variety.
Yeah, my mom sometimes my parents doesn't like that because in our culture, girls are not allowed to date. But I did that.
Do you have arranged marriages? Is that what they do?
No, it's like you want me, come talk to my. If you really okay, I'll get to know you. You can be my friend. You can be anything you want, but I can't lose my virginity to you until I get married to you.
Oh yes.
So he.
You know, I am so glad to hear you say that.
The chastity
Seriously.
belt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever a person's religious beliefs are, the Old and New Testament talks about waiting till marriage. But in our culture, nobody seems to do that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't do that. I mean, if you don't lose your virginity, that means you're stupid. What are you? You crazy?
You're
Well, I'll tell you what, since we're
Have
talking
you been
about
called
this,
frigid?
I don't
No,
know
they
this.
don't know. They don't know. When they asked, when they said, I was like, yeah, I'm not a virgin.
Okay,
But, see,
I
I am a virgin. But I'm just
Young
saying
lady, I
that
don't know if you
because-
know this.
Yeah.
You know, my autobiography just recently got published.
No.
And, you know, talk about saving yourself. This is going to be unbelievable. I saved myself for 41 years before I ever experienced any kind of intimacy with the opposite sex because I was raised to wait. I didn't say it was easy.
Is that when you got married?
Yeah, I was 41 years old when I first got married.
Wow,
Wow.
you were longer than Steve Carell.
But see, it was not easy, you know, because this is a different culture. Because I think people from your culture and stuff, the reason they are uncomfortable with our culture sometimes is because we have such.
We put a brush
Isn't
on
it-
everything.
yeah,
I don't know how to.
We try to make
explain it.
children. I mean, nowadays it's really annoying, but the moment a child turns 9 to 10, they're like being treated like they're adults instead of let them imagine
Yeah.
if there's a Santa Claus. It's okay to stay young. Don't hurry and get old because you won't like it. It's boring and
not
annoying
the,
and.
it's not the parents. It's just the generation. I mean, because of the media and stuff like that.
They're trying to race with the
kids-
computers.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
You can't
is,
race
you
with
know,
the
like
I have
people
a
from your
sister-
culture, they see our television, they see the actresses not modest anymore.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so they think there's something wrong with our culture. And then
They don't
getting-
say something wrong. They think in my country, they think your culture is right. But because I grew up over here, I
It's too
mean, I
fast.
understand the culture.
it's very fast here in this
But
culture.
people, it's not because it's fast. Just people like teenagers, this generation, don't understand it and don't get it, and they get into it themselves.
Well, you know, I was accused of not liking women when I was saving myself. I was accused of being gay and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to deal with all that, and people thinking there was something wrong with me. You have to
Yeah.
read my
See, I
book.
used-
it's
I
very
told-
detailed.
I always
my
told my
autobiography
kids-
is very
People
detailed.
ask me how I date. I don't have to lose my virginity to this guy.
No, you have to
No.
know who you're talking to first.
Well, yeah, he doesn't deserve it. Okay, I lost my virginity. What do I want in the future? Nothing. And then when I'm trying to meet another guy, I'll do the same thing. So I wanted to be to myself. I want to do it with the right person. I don't want to do it with the wrong person. He doesn't
Yeah,
deserve
because you know, okay,
me.
here's a
Right,
great
right.
example. Here's an illustration I use. Suppose you have an orange, okay, and you cut it in 4 pieces. If you, when you eat the orange, you're getting all the good stuff on the inside of the orange, and when you're finished, there's nothing left but the vine,
know what
and you
we
throw
say?
it out.
Yeah.
That's a crude analogy of what it's like when you don't save yourself.
Do you know what we say to our country? Women's are diamonds.
Right.
If you don't save the diamonds and you break it into the floor, it can't go back again because it's already broke.
Well, you know,
This is what we say. I mean,
I used to tell my children, especially my daughter and my sons.
my mom always tells us the same. She's like, you're a diamond. You don't throw yourself to the person because if he break your heart, you won't be the same.
Right.
So
it is hard.
I don't fall in love. All my friends call me a gold digger. I don't know for what.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're a gold digger.
Well, I told my
I'm not a
kids, I
gold
said,
digger.
you know, since your dad wasn't the great man he could have been or something, walk around his footsteps. And I said, and don't hurry to get old. Old is expensive and boring. You don't want to do that. You take your time every day. If you make it to noon or midnight, you're in the future.
Yeah.
And leave it at that because there's no rush. If you want to imagine there's a Santa Claus, do it because imagination is what's made art, music, television, everything, and movies. So we need the imagination. We don't need everybody to grow up. If everybody wants to wait till they're 100 to grow up, that's okay with me. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I know that I'm 20. I should be more immature, but I'm having fun. I'm doing everything that I want. I mean, I am tiny.
You're in between being a teenager and an adult.
Yeah.
You know, you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, like
and,
I do crazy stuff. Sometimes I go with my friends, like our neighbor, who was like really younger than me, and told me let's go ding dong dish. I'm like, okay, that's I don't have a problem. I do ding dong dish. Then I come back home. I do get yelled by my parents.
What was
Well,
what was it that you guys did? You rang the doorbells?
Like we knocked the door and we ran away. One time I got into. One time I
This is
didn't
like a
know
perfect
that
song.
my ex. Well, he used to be my fiance. He was like really, really, really rich. So I didn't know that. So one of his friends lived in that same house. I did the ding dong dish to the house. So my friend threw a rock at it. So he was thinking the whole time it was his neighbor.
Oh.
He took that rock and he hit the window.
Oh.
And it broke. So they sent him. He got into a lot of big problems. They sent him back. Montana sent him back to my country.
Oh wow.
So when I did to my ex, I told him about that story, but I didn't know it was his friends. So I was saying,
You have
and
to remember
he just,
sometimes the world turns into a marble.
yeah, and he just looked at me. He was like, "You did that?" I was like, "Did what?" He was like, "You sent him back to a country. Do you know what he did? He thought it was his neighbor. Now you told me it was you." I was like,
Uh-oh.
"Yeah, it was me. I was 13
It's
years
a
old when I
political
did that."
incorrect deal.
And he was like, "Oh my God!" So he told him, and I was on the phone with him. He was yelling at me the whole time
Oh, no.
because he lost his future. But right now he's in Canada studying. He said, "I learned if kids do that, I'll understand why the kids not our neighbor."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was living right next to us, but he's so stupid. I think he threw the rock at
This
people's
my
house.
chest play some classical music while you're talking.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
listening to you.
Yeah.
He didn't
This
break a window,
conversation
did he?
goes well
No.
with Beethoven.
Okay,
He doesn't know it was me. He thought the whole time it was the neighbor until I met his friend and I told him what happened when I was young. Then he told his friend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm really impressed with you about is you're waiting and saving yourself. That's a wonderful trait.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very wonderful thing. Good for you.
Thank you.
It's hard, but I mean you're already raised up like that, so you're like 20 years into being used to that, and, you know. And now, but here a lot of I mean, I've seen a lot of things happen when kids turn 10 years old. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard. By the time a person in this country is going on, let's say 14, they've been through so many experiences. It's annoying, and then, you know, and that's where we get kind of confused on the religious part, because in the Bible it says, you ask for what you want and you're supposed to receive that. Well, sometimes you're throwing a lot of sharp curves along the way to test you, to get you to that point.
Well, you know, I've read the Bible. I read the Jewish books too. I read
Really?
the Quran. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm just like I don't do anything at home. so,
Curiosity.
yeah, I'm just reading stuff like that. But my religion is Islam. But the whole thing is everything is said in the Quran the same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it is repetitive.
All the books say the same thing, but the one thing that I don't get it is the Bible. Like I read this Bible and I buy another Bible too, and that thing is changed. It's not
Right.
the same.
Right.
And that's what got me confused. But the only thing that it didn't got me confused, it says that don't lose your virginity. Like this is the important thing they have.
Your body's your temple.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
body.
well, okay.
But
I think
people
I
didn't
can.
understand. So this.
I think I
It
can
don't-
answer your
it just
question
all-
it
boils
on
down
the
to it all
biblical
goes-
part of waiting.
Yeah.
It's in the book of the Corinthians, in the New Testament, and in chapter 6, it talks about. I'm sorry, chapter 7 talks about waiting, and it has instructions for people who get married.
Yeah, like when you get
Mhm.
married, you do that stuff, not before you before.
Yeah, and
you
see,
get
I
married.
think in our culture we've got that mixed up now.
Yeah,
Because see,
we
a
got
guy,
everything.
the deceitful thing that a man will say to a woman is, "If you love me, you'll let me." No, if he really loves you, he'll wait for you.
Yeah,
He'll respect you as a woman, and because you know there are consequences, as you know.
yeah,
What if you get pregnant? That's gonna plunge you into welfare. Not that there's anything wrong with that,
yeah,
but you know you're only 20 years old.
yeah.
You don't want to be having to raise a kid. And you're trying to
I've
get your
always
life
determined
started.
that to me, religion, it just goes beyond sight. It's all about the energy that you put out is what you get back. So if you treat people good, you are going to get a few bad ones in there.
Yeah.
But at least if you give out some effort, hopefully that person, like if you take somebody to lunch, they should think about bringing you a sandwich sometime or taking you out to lunch, just as a courtesy of thank you. You know?
Yeah,
That's what makes it more of a stronger bond.
yeah.
Excuse me, Jose, come on in. Let's bring Jose into the shot. Come on in, Jose.
Looking good, Mr. Smith.
Hello, you all.
Hello.
You can stand next to Emmett right here, and I'll introduce you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were just talking to Haneen here about her culture and some interesting things, so we could learn more about her. And ladies and gentlemen, now we have Jose Van Smith, who's going to be part of our cafe here. And
Our
we'll
extra
have the gentlemen
guest.
stand here. We'll have the two lovely ladies here. So, I borrowed your guest.
Well, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to the Asaph Cafe show.
Of course. We're going to
Um,
be shutting down this cafe because I'm getting ready to start playing at the mall soon.
Marvelous.
Yeah, I'll be
Marvelous.
there every day.
Well, you know, you have my support.
Thank you, thank you.
And
you
I-
guys, the piano will be at the Cafe Dolce, so they'll have seating
You'll be by the
there.
clock.
Yeah, by the clock.
Who's this lovely young lady here in front of me?
Oh,
Patti.
that's what you don't know. This is Patti Reed. She is the hostess of Asaph Cafe.
Hi, Patti.
Hi.
And who is that? Is that Toto?
No,
We
that's
are close.
Phoebe.
Actually, it's Pee, we are mascot.
Hi,
You were so close.
I was kind of close.
Yeah.
All right. and
I
this
decided to-
distinguished gentleman right here.
And we're on our Lawrence Welk set, and
I
it's good
believe
to have you on that
we
Lawrence
met.
Welk set.
He's
Yeah.
And I decided-
eminent
Punk rocker, yeah.
punk rocker.
I decided to bring
I
some
call
props
him
on.
our affectionate punk rocker.
Agent
rocker,
fun,
yeah.
right? But what's good about having Emmett on this show is, you know, he did his regular show for 20
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
So I wanted to keep him in the camera.
That's right.
And
Mhm.
speaking of, you know, I want to use his character. I'm getting very close with that new Lawrence Welk show.
Oh, wonderful.
Marvelous,
I'm
marvelous.
waiting on a decision from Dodge right now to see if they're going to sponsor that show.
And
Fabulous.
I
Wow.
brought some props on. I have some DC comic full
Yeah,
figures
we're
here.
going to talk about that. But anyway, young lady, just the best for you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your honesty on
Thank
this
you.
show. Now we're going to change the subject and we're going to talk about the thing.
Whoa!
Yes, this,
Oh, yeah, Fantastic
this is the
Four.
Fantastic
The
Four
Fantastic
member.
Four.
I
Yeah.
believe I recall
And
him.
they've been out several times in movies.
Okay.
This one came out back in 2000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that. I used to remember watching him when I
Oh
was
yeah,
a
the
kid.
comic strip did
Well, yeah,
come out.
I remember
watched
the old
that.
cartoon. They had that on Cartoon Network, the old one from the 1960s of Fantastic Four. I got hooked on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very. I even liked the
Marvel
new movies.
comics.
Yes, yeah, I even liked the new movies of
came
the
out
Fantastic
long,
Four
I
and
think,
Rise
the
of the Silver
60s
Surfer.
and
Very good. But
70s,
yeah,
I believe.
Well, they had a lot of those superhero well, this is way before your time. You probably won't know.
I've seen that.
Have you seen the thing?
Yeah.
All
I've
right, let me
seen
name
that.
some. Let me name
Over in
some,
your country?
No, I've seen that when I was back in Pittsburgh. I was a little girl and watching.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Stanley's
remember,
all
let's
over
see how
the-
much-
all over
let's
the
see how
country,
much you
around
know
the
about
world.
superheroes.
I don't know. The only thing that I know about Superman, Spider-Man, because my brother watching. I know this one because I've seen the movie.
Oh, you.
Is that
Well, I was
Venom?
going to say
Yeah.
the
This is
Super
Thor.
Friends. Are you
I
familiar
know,
with the Super
and
Friends?
I've seen this. I've seen that one on. Oh God.
This
It's a
Are-
cartoon
this
is-
movie.
this is-
They're
are
all
you-
for kids. Yeah.
Are you familiar
He's-
with the Super Friends?
Super Friends.
Okay, in the 70s they had what was called the Super Friends. It consisted of Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash.
Oh yeah, I know
And then
that
they
one.
had what was called the Legion of Doom.
Oh yes, I love that show.
This one is Ben
and all the other
Grimm
bad
and
guys.
I love
the
that
Thing.
cartoon. It's
The
excellent.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
I love my superhero in this cartoon, Captain America. I love him.
Yeah, Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America's right here.
It's the even
There's
yeah,
Captain
he's
America.
Captain America,
Mhm.
and
Then that's the Hulk.
Mine was
And that's the
Thor.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Thor's, and this is Iceman.
Silver Sliver.
Yeah, that was
Surfer.
the Silver Surfer.
Surfer,
Yeah.
yes.
Or,
Yeah.
become
I'm
Iceman.
thinking about the Silver Slipper.
Yeah.
We filmed that a while back.
Yeah.
We
The Silver
missed
Surfer.
you.
he have a fire
At
every
that
time we get
presentation.
mad.
I got
he throws
sick
something
the other day.
fire.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
finally-
He actually
this
was
is the first time I felt well
a
enough
bald-headed
public.
man
Bless you.
that
Yeah.
ended
I
up getting
it just
transferred.
came all of a sudden, and
They all love getting
I
up
needed
and
to rest. I
transfer.
canceled
Yeah,
playing
they,
at the,
you know, they're unique in their
senior
own
center.
characters, but
And I
they all
also
have a
canceled
purpose,
doing
and
that
they
news-
realize that even when they try
Wake
to get
up
out of their
Missoula.
purpose
It's
and take a
just-
day
I'm
off,
just like,
they
oh,
can't.
Gosh, if I don't rest,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get sicker.
I agree. And we all go through that, y'all.
Yeah.
You have to take care of your body.
And all I did
Oh,
was,
I have to got a call.
all right. You're welcome to come back. But anyway, yeah, I needed to rest.
Yes, yes.
I
that's-
didn't touch the piano. I didn't study. I just slept. And what I did was I have a electric stove, so I opened the door and I turned it to like 200 degrees, and I got under the covers
Whoa.
and I just sweated
Sweat it
and
out.
I just drank tea.
Yes.
And so
I take-
today is my first day that I felt well enough to get out. In
I tend to
public.
take echinacea. Echinacea is a very good herbal medicine. It's natural. It's born from the earth. No side effects. It builds your immune system really good. So you can be in a room full of people coughing and sneezing or whatever's ailing them, and you'll come out with barely anything. at
And
all.
bear in mind, it's also the flu season.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to wash the hands.
Absolutely.
Wherever you go, use the sanitizer.
Exactly, yeah.
It
Oh
helps.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm thinking of getting a flu shot too.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'm,
keep
me
plenty of orange
playing in
juice.
the mall.
Yes.
There'll probably be
you
hundreds
go.
of people
Okay.
every day. So I
Oh, yeah,
protect
absolutely,
myself and
absolutely. I
stuff
think
like
that's a
that.
very good idea, yeah.
I might want to add, you all. I just think it's appropriate that we acknowledge the veterans, our Veterans Day coming up.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Coming forward.
Well, you can do that while I just play God Bless America.
Yes. And I'm just here. I would like to just salute our men and women in uniform for their outstanding service to our nation.
Yeah, my father did 30 years in the Air Force.
I would love to see every restaurant and motel and hotel across the country give them one free lunch or dinner and a free night.
I agree with you.
I think
You have my
not a
support.
discount, but a free one because
Right.
they really went through a lot, and they, we're lucky that they made it back. So it's a privilege.
In fact, I just
No.
left the School of Cosmetology on Mullen Road, and the owner, she had asked me about some contacts to the VA because she would like to offer them a haircut.
Oh, that's nice.
Once a week or somewhere along in a month.
That's nice.
The veterans,
That's nice.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's very noble.
And let me ask you, Jose, I never got to ask you, did you ever serve any time in the military at all?
Sir, back in my day, and you might want to ask me my age, because
Yeah.
well, the answer is
I just had a
you have an
birthday
idea.
last week, so.
But bless you, and happy birthday.
Thank you, I'm 57 now.
Bless you, you're still a baby.
57.
You're still a baby.
You'll always be ahead of him. So
Yeah, well, God is good. But I would like to. Oh, on that note, as far as me, during the day when I was young and I went to enlist, there was a quota. The government would only accept so many males out of a family, and so me being the seventh child, I'm the first of seven.
oh, you're blessed.
Out of 9.
Oh, you have a big holiday.
Yeah, they told me, oh, we got enough of you, Smith. So.
Well, this is a true story. I was very young.
But I compensated by recruiting for the service.
I called myself wanting to get in the Navy once. I
Yes.
was like, gosh, this might have been a short time after I left the conservatory. I don't remember, but I used to watch a television show called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, I love
I've
that
heard of
movie.
that. I
And
never
I
watched
and
it
I
myself.
told
myself.
myself, I'm gonna be like that that admiral, right?
Right.
I went down that recruiting
Admiral
office.
Nelson.
Yeah, Admiral Nelson. I went down there, it took a 3-hour aptitude test for the Navy at that time.
Yes.
I failed that test with flying colors, and that recruiter looked at me and he goes, you know, Asaph, I think you should consider another line of work.
Well, that's a
true
good
story.
thing.
Well, the Navy
Well,
kind of
he had a
complicated.
grin on his face, but you know, I always, for me, it was always music. So I guess good Lord had a better plan for me to try to get in the Navy and be Admiral Nelson.
Brother Smith, I was telling, what's her name? Haneen?
Yes.
I was
Haneen.
Haneen.
Yes.
I was telling her that I feel the real reason why we have Thanksgiving is because we put up with a lot of human turkeys 365 days a year that drive us crazy, push the limit, go as far as it. So
Especially
the government decided, well, we'll let you all have one day to set aside to thank them for making you smarter, realize more, and how to get around that nonsense more often.
I agree, and you know it's important that we we give thanks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very appropriate for you to acknowledge that this time of the year.
Well, you know,
we
I
have
was
the Veterans Day
telling
coming up, Thanksgiving Day,
Oh, yeah.
and which is a very
Well, I was
sentimental
telling, I was
time.
telling Patti,
And tons of
I
turkeys
had a
running around.
reminder.
Yes, tons of turkeys running
I had a
around.
reminder of just being thankful. Just today, I was listening to a program called Family Life on the Christian radio station,
Yes.
and they were talking about how we shouldn't take things for granted. We should be thankful because
I agree.
some people don't have food,
Yes, sir.
clothing.
Correct.
And I was like moping around like, man, I sure wish I had a car. I'm like,
Some don't
"Hey,
even
Seth,
have a
you got
country
a
at the
home,
moment,
You got
you know.
talent with a piano. And
Like
got my health
like
back,"
the
and I'm
Syrians,
like,
they don't even have a country right now because they had to get away from the hostility
yeah,
to
we
save
watch the
their
world
lives.
news
Which
and
I'm
you
glad
see all
they're
that stuff
smart.
going
They are
on.
very smart. Why put up with it? You know, if it's time to go, it's time to go.
Well, I would strongly urge that we all pray for peace.
Yep.
Well, you know, I think the Old Testament talks about praying for the peace of Jerusalem.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
I think it's in the Book of Psalms.
It's kind of strange how
Yeah.
things go deja vu throughout centuries, though. You
Yes,
know, because
yes.
that was wrote way back there, but little
Well,
things
let me
keep
tell you
repeating
about what it was
themselves.
like living in Taiwan when I was growing up. At that time, we couldn't even drink the water out of the tap. My father had to go to the Air Force Base once a week and come home with these big containers of water that would carry our family for like a week or two.
Whoa.
Because he was
Interesting.
stationed in Taipei, so
Right,
that's how we
right.
got to live there. I had a lot of Chinese friends and stuff, but the conditions were so primitive in comparison. Well, I know we have techno now, but we're talking like
Right, right.
1964.
Right. Well, a lot of times Asians over
Around
there, they are living near the city dump and things, and it's really annoying. You know, it's
But you know
causes
what
you
one thing I
sickness and
liked about
everything.
that school, I think that the education system was totally different than how we have it in the U.S.
They really emphasize on respect.
And
You
yeah,
will
and
respect
what
your
I
teacher.
noticed,
You will
like,
respect the rules.
we went to this big campus, and I've had to describe it as like the Oral Roberts University,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the kindergarten to the seniors all on the same campus, but it was sectioned off, so you never saw seniors with the, like say grade school kids and stuff like that. It was just this big campus,
Yes.
and we used to stand in front of the school. I think they had the school flag or whatever it was for Taiwan, and we would stand in front of the school, and they would play this music like something off of Godzilla.
Kind of like Pledge Allegiance here,
you
but
know.
it was more
That's
like
what it was
that.
like.
Yes.
And then you went to your classes, and it was a beautiful campus. And then they had this mountain on the back of the campus where they used to take us out there to run cross country
Whoa.
and stuff like that. It was a big, huge Catholic school.
So you
But,
learned how to speak the language?
No, but you know, speaking of respect, everybody had a uniform.
Yes,
Seriously,
yes.
the guys had to wear these white shirts and blue pants with the patch that said DS for Dominican school, and the girls had like this white, like shirt with the blue blouse, I guess is what you call it. And it's just like that David Carradine Kung Fu.
Kung Fu,
only
yes.
you know everybody
Grasshopper?
wore the same outfit
Right.
in this school.
Very structured, very
Yeah, it was
regimented.
very structured, and our teachers were nuns, you know, the habits and things like that.
When the nuns were nuns.
Yeah, yeah.
I had this conversation
That's-
earlier.
that's-
Emmett, you might recall when nuns had habits.
Yes, I do.
We
Yeah.
just said
Yeah,
you could point them out a mile away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Today you have lay nuns and lay
Yeah.
priests,
Well,
and you
not
can't
like
tell
me,
the
but
difference between them and a punk rocker.
And the one
Yeah. I would like a punk rock Catholic priest. That'd be
a lot of times,
But you know, you got got to update it by. So you got to remember this was 1964.
I got kind of in arguments with nuns sometimes because I'd say, how can you marry a building or all the congregation? You can't do that. It'd be like the weirdest wedding ever, you know. And so they go, well, no, it's not that. It's just the concept that you're going to stay faithful to your religion and things like that. I said, okay, well, then you don't need a priest to get you married to the building, right? So.
Well, it's like when before I became a brother, I was a novice. And when I was ordained a brother, we took vows and celibacy and chastity and obedience.
Yeah.
And it's important that we make a commitment in life.
Well, what impressed me about your young friend Haneen, she was talking about saving herself, and I said, whatever a person's religious beliefs are, that's a wonderful thing to do. To save yourself that
exactly,
right person.
exactly.
Really is.
Yes, it's important that you acknowledge that there is a power greater than thee.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, I told your young friends as we were talking about that, I saved to myself for 41 years. And I didn't say it was always easy, but I knew that was what I wanted to do. And I got accused of not liking women.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I got accused of being gay. And
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Crazy stuff. That's just our culture.
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah.
You know?
The only thing that concerns me now is like I wish somehow I could turn a light switch off on uranium. I really wish I could because it's causing a lot of bad side effects in Montana and North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado, a number of states. And if we could just go solar power since there's so much global warming going on, we'd probably save a lot of lives and save a lot of livestock and animals and the land and everything. Because there's got to be a limit to how far we're going to push.
Interesting that you raised that issue.
It was very important.
We'll have to discuss that on another episode.
Yeah, you'll probably have more time because
that's
I was watching PBS.
So I'm glad you're being a part of this.
I watched a
it.
late episode on PBS, and they were talking about this, and I didn't know it was that severe in this in our country right now. It's really bad, and it needs to get some control.
Look at global warming, you all. You know, I mean, the way that they're drilling for oil out the planet,
Dead
that has to have
dinosaurs.
some adverse repercussions on the greenhouse effect.
Yeah.
And we've got to be mindful of our youth, of our young people. You know, they have a right to a life, a future.
Yes.
And I think we owe it to ourselves and to our society to give back.
Yeah, exactly.
Brother Smith, since you were talking to your brother and then a novice, are you a Catholic, a Roman Catholic brother, or of another denomination?
I was originally Roman Catholic. But I was, and then I became a novice under the evangelical church.
Oh, okay.
And I was ordained a brother by the bishop, who was the head of the Midwestern province of the evangelical church. There's a member of the Order of Teaching Service Christian Brothers Religious Community.
Interesting. Are you a pastor then of a church? Let's say a pastor where you teach a congregation the Bible, or what? Or is it a different type of brother?
I'm a brother.
Okay.
You know, you have priests,
I see.
you have
I get it, yeah.
pastors, you have ministers, and you have sisters. You've got brothers.
Okay,
I'm your brother.
Yes. Wonderful.
Well, this is
And
gonna
God
be
is
great.
good. Yep.
If this ends up being my last cafe until after the holiday, this is great to have all of you on.
Yes.
So this is great. I'll make sure you get a copy of the show today.
The pleasure is
Yeah,
right
I'm
now,
going
TV.
to. And is your young lady friend Haneen coming back?
Our editor. I mean, no, she's our co-host. By the way.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, Mr. Kane Sinclair is our.
So it's like two
production assistant.
co-hosts on one show.
Well, hey, that's
No,
good for my show.
well, yeah, for you all,
Yeah.
right? You're the co-host here.
Yeah, exactly.
And with Tono. Forgive me.
Pee-wee.
Forgive me.
She's ate plenty, so she's like out of it. Anyway,
Oh, bless her heart.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you
Well-
for letting us use her. We just wanted a new, fresh face on.
Sure,
so.
sure.
I didn't think
Well, you kept
would
promising
mind
to come
it,
on the
but,
show, so here you are.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
just-
hopeful that in the future we can bring our whole crew on.
Just
Yeah.
remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
That bless her.
And on that note,
Thank you
let
for
me
that.
let me sign off here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we had our special guest, Miss Haneen,
Alsaiari.
Yeah, I can't pronounce their last name.
Haneen Asaph.
Asari.
All right.
Haneen Asari.
And, we've taped so many of these cafe shows in advance. I'm getting ready to play the piano at the Southgate Mall, so I probably won't be doing any more shows until after the start of 2016.
If you go watch him at the mall, you'll be able to keep time.
And so we have our aging rocker Emmett, and of course Mr. Jose Van Smith, Brother Smith, known to the world as Brother Smith. And our hostess Patti Reed and our mascot Pee Wee.
This is Starfire with the power.
We have the thing here.
And we have the thing we
With the
brought.
thing,
DC Stanley will love us as soon as he takes a peek.
I gotta ask you one last final question. Who was your favorite superhero as a boy growing up?
Mine, that was Superman.
Okay, you. Yeah,
Mine was Thor.
Thor, huh? Did you
Yeah.
have a favorite hero?
I liked Rogue and Wonder Woman and Supergirl and any of the female hero ones, Catwoman, because they proved a point that it ain't about being just sexy, but you got to be able to make sure that everybody and everything goes the way it should be.
Well, I have to go with Superman too. If I could fly
Yes.
through
Oh,
the
yeah,
sky.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Christopher
I've
Reeve
had
was my
flying dreams
Superman.
before. I loved flying.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, Alan Kyle was the first Superman on television before
Right.
George Reed.
Well, see, Christopher Reeve was so sexy, though.
And
He
see, what
just
they did was
flew over that.
they didn't have the technology, so when they had Superman fly in the air, it was a cartoon. And
Yes.
when it landed,
and a big fan
Yes.
and wires.
Yeah, yeah.
Animation. He was
yeah,
animated.
it was animated flying. But
Yeah.
then when he landed, he became a person.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
They have those posted, the original.
But I watched the League of Legions or something like that. It was a cartoon, and he had Aquaman, you had Wonder Twins.
Yeah,
Wonder
that,
Yeah, the
Twins
Super
powers.
that
Friends.
was the Super Friends. That was like
Super
what,
Friends.
20 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
In the
I
70s
like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
So first it was
So I liked them all. pretty much.
Alan Kyle, and then it was George Reeves for that black and white, with
It was
James Larson, the actor that
right.
just passed.
It was the
about a
one
month
time
ago.
when you watched the comic books and all that come to life,
Mm-hmm.
and you learned that even if you're different, you're cool,
Yeah.
and you just put it to work. That's what you do.
And then by the time Christopher Reeve did it,
Yeah.
they were getting a little bit more.
There was
modern.
a episode on
They had Marlon
Smallville.
Brando on that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
cool.
think he
There was an
Brando.
episode where Christopher Reeve actually was on Smallville, introducing Tom Welling, just letting him know, you are Kal-El, you're not from here, and I know all about you. And it was just funny because they did a clip about how they were talking about the Parkinson's Fund and everything, for people, and they were both introduced, and so Tom Welling goes, thank you, Chris. He goes, no, thank you. And so it was kind of comical, they're thanking, both Supermans are thanking each other.
And now they got Supergirl. I looked at the Supergirl.
Yeah,
the other night.
that's a new one.
So that's a new one.
And she's
like
good.
All modern,
She's
high-tech.
pretty good. She's
Well,
pretty good.
the bad guys are modern now because they got like this. They had a scene in there where they were teaching her how to be Supergirl.
Yes.
So they put her in this room with this kryptonite to make her a little normal, and then the teacher went on this kung fu on Supergirl to teach her how to fight.
Oh.
Oh, that's changed.
Yeah, they had her. It was enough.
Because you'd have
kryptonite not to
students once
hurt
in a
her.
while after
Yes.
the
But because they were
teacher.
telling her the bad guys have evolved, so
Huh.
that's the
Well,
latest.
back then, it used to be the students were kind of against it, irritating the teacher. Now it's the reversal psychology there.
And on that note,
If I
the
may.
final acknowledgement.
If I may, I
Okay.
would like to ask you all and your viewing audience to tune in to the Right Now TV show. We air Mondays at 6 o'clock p.m. on Channel 189 and Saturdays at 5 p.m.
Okay.
We're a variety show, and I would love for you if you have a talent or skill and you like to come on the air and essentially toot your horn. Feel free to be my guest. I'm Jay Van Smith, the executive
Right.
producer of the Right Now TV show here at MCAT
And
Studios.
thanks for being part of this. In case this ends up being the last cafe for a while, this is a great way to go
Yeah.
out with all of you and the thing.
Yes.
And our
The Thing and the
mascot.
Venom Spider-Man.
There we
Yeah.
go. Oh, you got Venom too.
Yeah, right here, Venom.
Incredible.
Did you see the Spider-Man movie with what was his name, Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire.
That was an interesting film.
And then, don't you love his girlfriend's name is Mary Jane?
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they.
Here comes Tom Petty.
I'm going to be dating myself because the original Spider-Man was this like primitive cartoon.
But they
I
had the
liked that
cartoon
one.
on.
And
I
then
like
the
that
actor
one.
that played on The Sound of Music when he grew up, he was the second Spider-Man.
Right.
But that was a short-lived. I think.
Toby
it was
does a
TV
pretty good
series.
job. He does a pretty good
Well,
job.
they didn't have. They were just getting the special effects together.
The The
But,
new one that took over for Toby, I'm not too sure about him, but
Well,
he's hanging in there.
yeah, but you know, that's the fun thing about superheroes. They just evolve.
You know, my concept of superheroes are our men and women in uniform,
Yeah,
our veterans.
that's a
And,
good way to end.
You know, I think that we all need to be mindful to, on this Veterans Day, acknowledge a vet. And don't forget to be thankful this Thanksgiving.
Give him
That
a
is
card, do
correct. That is
something.
correct.
Yes,
Carnation, card, something.
that's
And
right.
so, ladies and gentlemen, this is our, I wouldn't say Thanksgiving, but there's lots to be thankful for.
Uh-huh.
I'm very thankful for all of you being part of what might be my final show for a while. So until 2016 or until our next show, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Emmett and Brother Smith, Jose Van Smith, and our mascot Pee-wee and Patti Reed, I am Asaph Adonai, your host. And until our next show next year, Maranatha.
And if you feel like
Merry
it-
Christmas and Happy New Year if this is our last show.
And if you feel like it tonight, come by West Side Lanes off of Russell and West Broadway and come by and listen at around 9 o'clock.
Now, while I excuse myself,
Karaoke.
Brother Smith, you could take us home and chat and try to pop some bubbles.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Again, I'm honored to be a guest on the Asaph at Night Cafe.